In the 19th century, the British Empire expanded its reach across the globe, importing luxurious silks and rare spices from distant colonies. But along with these riches came something far more sinister, a deadly virus hidden in the cargo holds of trading ships. Within weeks of its arrival, the dead began to walk. What began as isolated incidents soon spiraled into catastrophe. The dead rose, ravenous and mindless, devouring the living. Panic turned to collapse. The infection spread unchecked, turning peaceful towns into feeding grounds. The empire lost millions. But Britain would not go down without a fight. Survivors sought knowledge from the East. Masters of martial arts from China and Japan were summoned to train the people in ancient techniques of survival. From housemaids to noble daughters, every able-bodied citizen became a warrior. To defend the capital, the monarchy commissioned a colossal wall, the Grand Barrier, towering over 100 feet high, encircling London. Surrounding this wall, they dug the Royal Canal, a deep trench designed to trap anything that made it past the perimeter. The wasteland between wall and canal became known simply as the In-Between, a cursed place, abandoned and soaked in blood. During the Second Battle of Kent, one of the bridges spanning the canal was breached. The undead surged across, slaughtering every last villager trapped in the in-between. The king, maddened by grief and guilt, ordered the destruction of all canal bridges, save for one. Nobility began to flee the city, retreating to isolated estates fortified with walls, moats, and mercenaries. One such estate in Hertfordshire received an unexpected visitor, Colonel Darcy, a decorated officer with a reputation for hunting the undead. Upon arrival, Darcy is intercepted by a guard and led through an underground passage. At its end, a grim-faced priest inspects his bare skin for bite marks. Cleared, he enters the estate's grand salon, where Mrs. Featherstone plays cards with her friends. Feigning casual interest, Darcy joins their game. As they play, he discreetly opens a vial of carrion flies, insects bred to detect decaying flesh. Within seconds, the flies swarm a man seated nearby. Without hesitation, Darcy smashes his glass and drives the shards into the man's face before beheading him with a hidden blade. The guests gasp. Mrs. Featherstone insists the man couldn't have infected anyone. Darcy doubts her and kicks the severed head across the room to make his point. Shaken but unyielding, Featherstone's daughter runs upstairs to check on her cousin, the infected man's niece. She's too late. The girl has already turned. She tears through the household staff and lunges at her cousin with unholy fury. Meanwhile, back at the Bennet estate, Mr. Bennet drills his 5 daughters in martial combat. Every day is filled with swordplay, rifle practice, and hand-to-hand training. But Mrs. Bennet couldn't care less. She wants her daughters married, not militarized. So when word comes of a formal dance, she convinces her husband to let the girls attend. Though Elizabeth, the second eldest, is reluctant, she dons a dress, concealing several weapons beneath it, and joins her sisters. At the event, Mr. Bingley becomes instantly smitten with Jane, the eldest Bennet sister. They share a dance filled with laughter and smiles. His friend, Darcy, is less enchanted. When pressured to ask Elizabeth to dance, he coldly replies she's tolerable but not handsome enough to tempt me. Elizabeth overhears. Humiliated, she storms off and knocks over a bottle, drawing every eye. Outside, she weeps, until a zombified Featherstone stumbles toward her, trying to speak. Before she utters a word, Darcy appears and shoots her in the head. The gunshot draws attention. More zombies emerge. As guests scream and flee, the Bennet sisters spring into action, blades flashing. Elizabeth fights with unmatched precision, her kicks and strikes decisive and brutal. Watching her, Darcy feels an unexpected pang of admiration. The corpses are piled and burned. Back home, Jane swoons over Bingley, while Elizabeth rants about Darcy's arrogance. When Jane is invited to Bingley's estate for tea, Mrs. Bennet insists she ride horseback, hoping a rainstorm will trap her overnight. Rain does fall. On the road, Jane is thrown from her horse while fighting a pursuing zombie. Her musket misfires, injuring her hand, but she doesn't hesitate. Knives out, she slashes the zombie apart. Before she can breathe, a zombie mother and infected infant approach through the rain. The next day, Elizabeth visits Bingley's estate and finds Jane sick with a fever. Darcy, concerned she might be infected, releases carrion flies again. They ignore Jane, and Elizabeth mockingly crushes them in her hand before returning them to Darcy.